Hi guys, I just want to take you on a tour of my bromeliads today. So let me tell you a little bit about my bromeliads. I have, probably, I don't know, maybe 100 different varieties, and I have not paid for a single bromeliad ever. The way I've gotten them is a lot of people who have bromeliads think nothing of thinning out their yards and just putting them out by the curb, which kind of blows my mind because it's a living plant. And I mean, at a minimum, you should at least compost it. But one of my neighbors at my other house had a regular habit of cleaning out her beds, and she would just leave plenty of beautiful bromeliads out by the curb. So one of my other neighbors, Dottie, would contact me and say, Paula, let's go dumpster dive. And we would go to her yard waste pile and we would just pick tons of bromeliads out of the yard waste. It was amazing. So I also got a lot of bromeliads given to me by my newest neighbors when I first moved here. They've gotten much bigger since they've been in my new yard because I think all the chicken poop. So come on a tour with me and I'll show you around. Look how pretty this is. These are just gorgeous. Got some over here blooming. Look at this pretty little brown one. Hard to see it, it's so dark. Because many of these are dumpster dive bromeliads, I have no idea what the varieties are. So I have a bunch of bromeliads up against this little seating area. Now I know bromeliads, a lot of them don't love sun. So I'm just trying to figure out which ones prefer sun and which ones would prefer shade. So here are a lot of bromeliads. I believe these are the sun-liking type. You can see some of this. That one looks like it's probably getting burned. I'll have to move it into the shade. So what I like to do is I put them in an area where I know they're going to get shade, but they get some dappled light. This is probably too strong for them. Here's another bromeliad. These are some bigger ones. They've really gotten big over time. This is right near the chicken superhighway. This is a lovely bromeliad. This whole area is mostly shaded. Comes out for a couple of hours. And this is a favorite spot for my chickens to hang out. I call it the chicken superhighway because they love to get underneath this area. And here's one right now. And this causes this whole area to be very nutrient rich. I'm going to have to put in something to shade them. So I've got them all along here. And then on this side, I have them all around these trees. I have 3 large trees in front of my house. So this area is mostly shaded. It's pretty densely shade. Might be too shaded. That's beautiful. The bromeliads pretty much are just growing right up this tree. This is the area I like to do all my potting. So there are bromeliads all mixed in here. I probably need to get a little bit of, I need to probably clean this out a little bit because the bromeliads are probably getting a little smothered by the coleus and the ferns. And then I love air plants and orchids also. So I've got those all in this area. It's just full of air plants and orchids. A lot of them are underneath. I've got to trim these back. I really wanted to wait for my coleus to finish blooming because they are so important to the pollinators. And I mean, I've even got bees on them right now. So I need to wait for those to finish trimming, and then I will trim these back. The bromeliads that are just all underneath these coleus will get some light again. I planted this whole side yard out with bromeliads, and they are just so pretty. Look at how pretty these are. This is all under a canopy of loquats. So I have loquats, and then over the top of this is a moringa tree, and that's providing a lot of shade. And then I have a chaya tree that's providing a dense amount of shade, because I believe these are the ones that do not like to have too much sun. So here's a mango tree that is going to be providing a lot of shade to these bromeliads, but look at the pineapples. They are just so happy. There's a lot of different varieties. They're very pretty. Look at this one, it's so pretty with that color. And all along here, it's dense with beautiful bromeliads. Oh, and they're starting to bloom. Look at the bloom on that one. Isn't that beautiful? It's a little tiny, looks like a pineapple. And they're all the way back. I have 17 feet from here to my property line, and it's pretty much packed with bromeliads. Here's another section of bromeliads. Very pretty. And this is an avocado tree that's going to be giving it some shade. And you can see over here, the avocado tree does give it some shade. Now these papayas are going to be growing up, so they'll help provide a little extra shade. This is kind of a little bit not shaded right now. That's a beautiful one. So I've got a lot of mother-in-law's tongue mixed in, but under all of these trees, it's very densely planted with bromeliads. Now over here, because it's pretty sunny, I do keep this area mostly for my pineapples. And you can see I have a chicken here that is in a major hard molt. She's actually coming into she slept inside last night. I've never seen a chicken lose so many feathers at one time. Little mama, you are just a mess, mama. She's going to be coming back inside. Look at her. She's uncomfortable. You are just uncomfortable, mama. I know, mama. I love you. This is Zella Blue. She's normally really pretty. Zella Blue is a bit of a mess right now. You want to get some sun? Oh, she is so uncomfortable. Little mama. So back here, closer to my chicken coop, I still have a lot of bromeliads. This area does need to get cleaned up. It's getting overgrown. It's a bit of a mess, but I love these plants, and I think they're beautiful. So up against my chicken coop, I have planted a lot of bromeliads. They get a lot of nutrient from the coop. The coop provides a lot of shade, and it has an intense amount of nitrogen, so they're being very well fed. They've really grown and are super happy here. Are you looking for lizards? So here is where I've planted them, and it's right up against my coop. Look at how pretty that is. Got a lot of passion fruit vine growing up here too, but this is just lovely to me. Look at this one blooming. Oh, look at those tiny, fresh, new blooms. Do you see the red? Look at that. And here's an older bloom. Just gorgeous. So I've got this very nice sized papaya, and I'm leaving it here because it's perfect protection for the bromeliads. They really, I think, need this little bit of dappled light. Look at these. Aren't they gorgeous? So this is the chicken coop. The girls like to have a pretty area too. And then over here, I've got a lot of bromeliads up against my house. Now, along my pool deck, it was just way too sunny to plant bromeliads, so I planted them here along this side. And what I love about this side is they really get shade, even though they're getting direct sunlight, because the sun comes through my screen of the top of my pool deck, then the side screen, so that it goes through 2 layers of screen before it hits these bromeliads. So even though they're in the sun, they're getting very dappled light. Take a look at these. Isn't that pretty? Hi, Mama. My little mama. Isn't that beautiful? That is a very pretty one. And I just planted various palms along with the bromeliads to give them shade. This is a chicken favorite area. My chickens absolutely love this area. It's very protected. They're not worried about hawks. Having all of these cattle panels, which is what I grow my tomatoes on, that really protects them, and I can't put my tomatoes in for another month. So all back in here are really pretty bromeliads. Look at this. That's so pretty. Got some back here. And the chickens hang out back here. They love getting back here. It's like a super protected area for them. Anytime I tell you my chickens hang out somewhere, that means it's super nutrient rich. I don't know how fast they grow on their own, but these things seem to be multiplying like crazy here, and they seem very happy. So it makes me happy. Mamas, can I squeeze through, guys? Excuse me. Excuse me, mamas. Excuse me. Excuse me, mamas. I'm going to show you where I have some bromeliads over here. Mamas, no fussing mamas. So this kind of has taken over, but my chickens love it so much. I don't want to move this plant. So back here I have some more bromeliads. How pretty these are. And all you bromeliad people, maybe you can tell me if I need to move some of these. Like if some of these are too shaded. How much dense shade is appropriate? I'm pretty good with mango trees and fruits and vegetables. Bromeliads are very different for me. I don't really know what I'm doing with them. I have a lot of them, and I definitely try to separate them out. And if I see one getting burned, I do move it. But I would love to have some more information on them. So I have been reading up on them lately in the various groups on Facebook. I don't want to harm the plants. They are spectacular. I think they have such an incredible place in my garden. I think they're so showy that I want them to be just as happy as the rest of my plants here. Well, thanks so much for coming on the tour, and you take care. Bye-bye.